Hello lovelies, welcome back to another sewing tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time, if you're a returning subscriber or returning viewer, I'm so grateful to have you here. So today I'll be showing you how to make this A-line cowl neck dress. This is going to be a very quick and easy tutorial. So please do well to watch this video to the end, like, share and subscribe while we get started. Alright, so I'm going to begin with this pattern I already drafted out earlier. This is a basic bodice pattern from shoulder to waistline, except it doesn't have any darts. Now I'm going to measure from the shoulder downwards to the chest line, which is 7.25 inches. I'll mark that point and I'll draw a straight line across from the armhole to the midpoint of the paper. So assume this paper is on a fold. Now I'm going to slash through the line I just drew out here, not cutting it off entirely. This line is going to be like a landmark for the cowl neck. And this is the fabric I have for this dress. This is velvet. It is very stretchy and I have 1.5 yards of this. I'll place the fabric on a fold and then I'm going to bring the paper back in so that I can spread it. Now I'll make sure the midpoint of the paper, that's from the chest line downwards, is directly on the folded edge of the fabric. Then I'll just keep extending the top part of the paper, that's from the shoulder to the chest line. I'll open it up to make sure I have 7 inches of allowance in between. That's the line I cut through. I want to make sure the space there is 7 inches. You can do more than that, but 7 inches was just moderate enough for me. Now when I've achieved that 7 inches, I'll go on to use my pins to secure the rest of the paper down. Now I'm done pinning, I'll go on to mark the rest of the other measurements. So from the waist, the paper stopped at the waist. I'm going to measure from the waist to hip, which is 8 inches. I'll mark that point and I'll use a straight ruler to just draw a line across this way. And then next, I'm going to measure from the waist to the knee. And I'm making use of 19 inches for that. I'll mark 19 inches there. And I'll also use a straight ruler to draw a line across. Then the full length of this dress is from the shoulder to the full length is about 49 inches. That's just where the fabric stopped, so you can make yours longer if you want. Now on the hip line, I'm going to take the hip circumference measurement divided by 4 and I'll add 1 inch of allowance to this. Now on the knee line, I'm going to mark the entire measurement I have on the hip, including the allowance. I'll mark that on the knee line and I'll further come inwards by 1.5 inches. So you want that penciled effect on the knee. And then for the full length, I'm also going to mark the entire measurement of the hip line on the full length line. And then I'm going to go outwards this time by 3 inches. If you have more fabric, you can mark 4 or 5 inches to give it a more visible A-line look. Now I'll just go on to connect the points together from the waistline to the hip line and from the hip line to the knee line using my curve ruler, and I'll take from the knee line to the end of the dress with my straight ruler just this way. And after doing that, I'll proceed to cut everything out. So I'll start from the lower part and just cut it following the curve I have drawn out and all the way to the top. After cutting the sides, I'll go on to cut the top part. I'm just going to add 0.5 inches allowance to the neckline, to the shoulders and to the armhole. And this is it. After cutting it out, I'll take off the paper and open it up so we can see what we have cut out. And this is what it's looking like. Don't get confused, because by the time I scrunch in the neckline a bit and I bring the shoulders upwards this way, this is what we have, looking like a normal dress. I know you can see this small neck swoop I have here. I came inwards when I was drafting my pattern by 2 inches, but you really don't have to come down by any neck depth because it doesn't make any difference when you put the dress on. Now I'll go on to cut out the back. I'm still going to make use of the pattern paper I used to cut out the front. So placing my fabric on a fold and placing the paper on the folded edge of the fabric, I'm going to use my pins to just hold the paper down, making sure that I don't have any spread this time. I know I should have cut out the back piece first before slashing through the chest line to cut out the cowl neck in front, but it still worked, right? Now after pinning the paper on the fabric, I'm going to bring in the front piece and I'll place it on this back piece I'm about to cut out. I'll make sure I align it from the waist downwards because the front and the back are basically the same, and I'm not about to start marking new measurements for hip line, knee line and the rest. The only difference between the front and the back is the neckline, and for the neck depth of the back, I'm making use of 1.5 inches. I'll cut that out. I'll also cut out following the same shape of the shoulders and armhole, just adding 0.5 inches of allowance. And after doing that, I'm going to cut out the sides following the exact shape of the front piece. So there is no zipper at the back of this dress because the fabric is very stretchy. And also remember, I don't have any darts on this dress. So now we've just cut out the back, very easy, and this is it when it's opened up. Now going back to the front, I'm going to go on to cut out interfacing for the neckline of the front. So I've placed a very tiny piece of fabric on a fold this way, and also placing the front piece on a fold as well. I'm going to place the interfacing underneath the front piece, and I'm going to just follow the same shape of the neckline and a bit of the shoulders, and I'll cut it out straight from the folded edge. So this interfacing is about 3 inches in length. Now I'll open up this front piece and also open up the interfacing, and I'll place them right sides together. Then I'll just go ahead and use about 0.5 inches of allowance to just attach the interfacing to the main fabric. So this is it after I was done. So the wrong side and the right side of this fabric are not entirely the same. So this interfacing I have put is just going to make sure that when the cowl neck drops inwards, you cannot really see the wrong side of the fabric. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Now before I attach the back and the front together, I'm also going to turn in the back neckline, but I'm going to be using a bias to do that, and then I will join the shoulders of the back and the front together using the interfacing of the front to fully enclose the back, and then I'm also going to sew the sides together, and this is what I have after doing that. The dress is fully ready at this point, and then I also went on to notch the knee line area there, and I did not fold the lower part. I didn't hem it because this fabric does not fray, and it was just better left that way. So for the armhole, I used a bias. I made the bias with the fabric, and I used it to turn in the armhole and the back neckline. And this brings us to the end of this tutorial. This is everything for this dress. Thank you guys so much for watching this video up to this point. This is how the dress looks on my client. So beautiful. Please do well to give this video a thumbs up, also share and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye for now.